Hey everybody, and in this video, I'm going to be telling you why you need to dump the wide angle lens and start shooting with a telephoto lens and how it's going to improve and benefit your photography. All that coming up. Hey, and welcome into the channel. My name is David Johnston. On this channel, we talk landscape photography. I help you how to improve your landscape photography through online videos. So if you're into landscape photography, if you want to learn more how you can get better, subscribe to this channel and ring the bell so you can be notified of future videos that are going to help you boost your photo level. In this video specifically, we're talking about why you need to dump the wide angle lens and go more for telephoto shots. I have several reasons for you and how it can benefit your photography too. But I think there's a cyclical process when you get into landscape photography, and you may have seen it for yourself too, about the processes of going through and constructing an image. You know, when you start out in landscape photography, I was no different, photographing everything I possibly could with a wide angle lens. And I would even only pack one of these lenses into my bag. And I think that going out and photographing that way is good in a sense because it allows you to photograph a scene and get better using one type of lens and not focusing on anything else and just mastering this type of photography. But over time, after shooting wide angle, every single time, it gets a little bit old because if you look at the composition of a wide angle shot, it's typically pretty much the same every single time. You know, you have a big foreground, you have an anchor point in your foreground that's kind of like the main objective of the bottom of your frame. And then as you go up, you have some leading lines that may direct you to the subject. And then you have the background at the top of your frame and just composing that out as best as possible. And once you do that over and over and over and over, it gets a little bit old. I recently did a test going through my favorite photographs from way back like 10 years ago all the way until today. And it was really interesting to see which ones I liked the most and which ones I had the most connection to. More often than not, less connection shooting with this lens, more connection going with a telephoto lens. And I'm gonna tell you why that is. Because of the fact that we just went through using a wide angle lens and composing the same types of shots over and over becomes old. When you go and switch to a telephoto lens, you get more direct photographs that connect with your landscape a little bit more. You get more thoughtful compositions with a lens like this too. I think photographing with a telephoto lens, this is a Sony 70-200 f4, not sponsored by Sony, but check out the review of this lens on the card that's showing up on your screen right now. This lens is so diverse in what you can photograph with a landscape and how you can connect to it and frame up your different subjects because of the range that it gives you. And because you don't have that typical wide shot that you can get with this lens, with a telephoto lens, what you can do is frame up like the sun rising behind a tree, switch over in the same exact morning, photograph mountains stacked back behind each other, photograph abstract designs and repetition in nature. You can do so many things with this lens and think up a lot of different framing options with this lens that it just gives you so many more capabilities and connection to your landscapes. Now, I've mentioned connection to landscapes several times now, and why that's important is because when you go to a location and you make a connection with a space and place that you're out photographing, it helps you improve your photographs because you're noticing the little minor things that you can include into a composition of a location, things that make it special, things that make it different, things that make it unique. And then those photographs in turn become unique. Photographing with a wide angle lens, yes, it can be fun, but oftentimes there's just one, two, maybe three compositions you can get in a location using a lens like this. So when you switch over to a telephoto lens, using just this, your options in photography just get way more beneficial for you. I think one of the biggest things that I like to do when I go out into the field, and this is gonna help you too, is setting up a wide angle lens on a tripod and getting that composition of, let's say, a sunset that you're waiting on in the field and you have that composition framed up. However, while that's going on and you're waiting on that light, don't just stand there. Get out your telephoto lens and take multiple photographs through the process, the changes of light. Because with this lens, you can get a lot of more different designs. You can get a lot more of that light bouncing off some of your subjects. And while you wait on that light to get just right, you're increasing your probability of capturing a photograph that you really love. And using just a wide angle lens, you're gonna be waiting and wasting a lot of time doing that out in the field. Switching over to the telephoto is going to help you get more shots that you have a better connection to in a landscape. Remember, as you're starting out, go ahead and use the wide angle lens all you want, but continuing your progression in landscape photography, start integrating with a lens like this, a telephoto, even a 50mm, 35mm, 85mm, even a 185, 400mm. Any of those lenses are gonna give you a lot more creative photography that you can put into your portfolio.